Let me start by talking about the earnings, and then we'll move on to talk about COVID a little. So the EPS numbers coming in well ahead of expectations, but you've confirmed your outlook. Is there a sense that there's risk to the upside for Sanofi later in the year?
You're right. We have a great quarter, and we enjoy something which is new in Sanofi, which is a sustainable growth. After 2019, 7.2% upside on the EPS, 9.2 in 2020. Now we are delivering 15% on this first quarter, 9.8 without one-off. It's a great trend. It's a great trend in Sanofi. And it's also a great opportunity this quarter to present our maturing pipeline with priority asset, RSV, which has shown in phase 3 that it was meeting its endpoints. So two great news for Sanofi and for patients in this first quarter. Growth on pipeline, which is going in the right direction with a huge unmet need, which is RSV.
Let me ask you about pipeline development, Jean-Babptiste, because some other pharmaceutical companies have talked about delays in clinical trials and therefore in pipeline development because of COVID-19, because of health systems, entire health systems being entirely distracted over the past year by dealing with something else. Is this something that's going to weigh on pipeline development in the future?
It might be for the industry, but honestly, in Sanofi, great job from all the teams all over the world. And we are holding our pipeline development in a very good shape. And by the way, RSV is not late, is ahead of time. We are effectively beating the expectations on the development of this new drug. So good news from that front. The teams are improving their game in terms of digital, and they are really delivering incredibly on the pipeline is there and will not be late.
Jean-Baptiste, you're working on two COVID vaccine candidates at the moment. They're in clinical trials. You've given an update today on the timing. You're also helping in the production efforts behind, I think, 3 of the vaccines that are currently on the market and approved in various locations. Why do we need another vaccine? Would it be better for your business or indeed for humanity to focus on higher levels of production of the existing vaccines that are already approved?
That's a great point. I think Sanofi is the only pharma actor who is going to contribute to improve the worldwide capacity for the 3 leading vaccines which are available right now with BioNTech, with Pfizer, and with Moderna. We just announced it yesterday. So we are strongly committed to fight this pandemic in Sanofi. And of course, this will not change the course of our 2 internal candidates because our teams are working extra hours. They are pushing the walls to make this capacity available. But at the same time, when we see how the pandemic is unfolding in terms of variants, in terms of maybe being there for several years, society, the US BARDA is really asking us to go on working on our 2 candidates. That's what we're doing. And we think they could be very useful in the years to come.
Yes. Is the work that you're doing on these COVID vaccines, though, is it focused on the original version or the original variant of COVID-19 that emerged in China, or will it stand up to the various variants? Because others in the sector, of course, are moving their products on to try and tackle some of the newly emerging variants. How will your vaccine take on those?
Yeah, so the current development are, of course, on the first strain, but we have in the preclinic, we are, of course, putting on the bench and starting to work in our labs preclinically on the new variants. So, of course, it will be part of the developments we will pursue.
And back to the other products that you make, Jean-Baptiste, at Sanofi. Some critics might question whether your business is too reliant on one particular medicine, on Dupixon. Is that a criticism you hear from shareholders? Is this something you're thinking about?
Yeah, that's an interesting point because Dupixon is effectively a miracle drug and with a high safety profile, high efficacy profile. But it's just the beginning of the story of this incredible drug, which will reach, we think, above 10 billion peak sales. And that's just the very beginning of the story. It's not just one drug. It's a drug which addresses multiple diseases, like you mentioned asthma earlier on, but of course it's atopic dermatitis, nasal polyposis, and we are developing it in many other diseases where unmet needs are very strong, for instance, in COPD. So it's just the beginning for Dupixon. And we are not worried, and well, not questioned yet, as I said, it's very early in the cycle, but also because in our pipeline, currently in our priority assets, we have many blockbuster potential. I mentioned RSV, which is a huge unmet need and one of the first reason for hospitalization of children. But we also have many other assets in oncology, like our third, or I could mention in MS, tolebrutinib, which is being developed in multiple phase 3 by Sanofi. So the fact that in Play to Win, the strategy initiated by our CEO, Paul Hudson, we are really focusing on very specific areas, but only with blockbuster potential.